It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Wishlist Wednesday. Oh, hey there, snazzy new theme song. Yes, you heard the lady, and by lady I mean me with a ukulele. It's time for Wishlist Wednesday, the video that I make each Wednesday detailing the books that I've added to my wishlist in the past week. Alright, we've got 6 books this week, so let's get started. The first 2 books on my list I found out about through Forever Young Adult, which is an excellent blog that you should be reading if you are no longer a teenager but still read young adult books. Like, their whole blog premise is basically, hey, let's get drunk and talk about the Hunger Games, and I'm like, that's something I can get behind. So first up is The List by Siobhan Vivian. This is a contemporary YA book about a high school where each year someone makes a list of the prettiest and ugliest girls in the school, and then the story of this is basically the girls on the list and how being on the list affects them. And it's like a big takedown of the beauty myth, and I thought it sounded cool. And the other book that I added on recommendation from Forever Young Adult is Grave Mercy by LaFevers. This is the first in a trilogy, and it's all about a girl who is escaping an arranged marriage, and so she goes to hide out with a convent of nuns, but it turns out the nuns are assassins, and then things progress from there, I'm sure you can imagine. And like, I'm sure there's other things to recommend it, but my brain just kind of turned off after Assassin Nuns, so yeah. Next up is Selected Stories by Forster, which is quite obviously a short story collection. Oh man, so somebody posted on Tumblr about This Machine Stops by Forster, and they were like, this is a science fiction short story that Forster wrote in 1909. And I'm like, wait, what? Is this real? Or is this like a leftover from April Fool's Day that is just continuing to get reblogged? But no, it's totally real, and I'm like, I want to read a science fiction short story by Forster. Let's do this. Everything else I added was stuff that I heard about on the Bookrageous podcast, which I would highly recommend. Oh god, the Bookrageous podcast probably does more damage to my wish list than any single other source. Like, it is ridiculous. So I added Night Watch by Sergei Lukyanenko. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Russian. So this is an urban fantasy novel set in Moscow, and apparently it is hugely popular in Russia. And I've never read a Russian fantasy novel before, so I thought I would try one. And then there is Shadow Ops Control Point by Myke. Oh, that is not a good cover. That just, oh, it looks like the novelization of a video game, and not even like a good video game. So this is obviously military fiction, which is not really something that I am into, but it's also fantasy, and I'm like, that sounds intriguing. I think the best part about this is the tagline, Army Officer, Fugitive, Sorcerer. So I think this is gonna be one of those that's either really good or like hilarious in its terribleness, and I'm fine with either of those outcomes. And lastly, we have Mr. President, How and Why the Founders Created a Chief Executive by Ray Raphael. And this is a nonfiction American history book about the creation of the office of president. And I think this is going to be really interesting because, I mean, when you think about it, it does seem kind of counterintuitive that the Founding Fathers would choose to create the office of the president, considering they were fighting a revolution to get out from under the tyranny of monarchy, so that should be good. Alright, those are the things that I added to my wish list. If you would also like to participate, feel free to make a video response and leave it below, or you could do a comment. Comments are cool. I like comments. And I will see you soon. Bye.